How do you stop playing like a guitar player? I'll show you how. So how can we stop playing like a guitar player? Well, first off, we have to define our terms, right? So what I mean by that is a lot of guitar players, myself included, we tend to play things that are pattern-based. And if you do that, what happens, especially when you're improvising or even composing a solo, you tend to play something that is strongly rooted in a pattern and not so much in the music that you're trying to put it over. So if we're going to teach ourselves how to play more melodically, we need to start thinking more in terms of what a vocalist would do. A vocalist is going to sing the chord tones, and that's why the melody sounds good. On the guitar, we may have learned how to improvise or solo with minor pentatonics or major scales, and therefore we play a lot of patterns over and over. And that tends to come out your fingers the more and more you do that. So you have to train yourself, and more importantly, probably train your ear to hear those chord tones. Okay, it's not as if you have to constantly know every single chord going by. Many times you can simply hear it and figure it out and get off of a weak note and move to a chord tone which is going to be stronger. But we need to go back to basics, correct? So one of the best ways to begin is to simply do basic arpeggios. If you do basic arpeggios, you can then train yourself to land on roots, threes, fives, sevens, and so on. And those notes are always going to sound stronger and have a bigger impact. Matter of fact, if you think of any piece of music you've ever heard and you thought the guitar solo landed on a note that was just so powerful, it's not necessarily the build-up or the amazing technique with which that note was struck. It has to do with it's part of the chord that's going by. 100% of the time, it's part of the chord, unless we're talking about something that's truly dissonant. But the reason a note sounds great is because it's part of the chord tones. So let's look at an example of where I play over two chords, and all I'm going to do is play chord tones over these chords and keep it super simple. And as I play this, think about, this is something that a vocalist would be singing. These are not guitar licks, these are not guitar riffs or patterns that I know. This is something that a vocalist would truly sing. So check this out. So as you could see, I chose a track that was very slow and gave me a chance to outline the chord tones. And I'll put a link to this backing track below the video so you can check it out yourself. But this track involves two chords, just an A major 7 and a D major 7. And you really need to start simple like that to start training your ear and start identifying chord tones. So let me just point out some of what I was playing, and I'll show you a simplistic way you can do this, okay? Let me turn the track on. There's the A major 7, and there's the D major 7. So I can play a triad. There's the A major 7. Sorry, it's just the A major. And there's the D major. A major. Root 3, 5. Root 3, 5. Root 3, 5. Root 3, 5. Now I add a 7. Root 3, 5, 7. Again, root 3, 5, 7. Root 3, 5, 7. Now I'll add the octave above. Root 3, 5, 7, 8. Root 3, 5, 7, 8. So already the phrasing sounds like some somebody can sing. Okay, if you keep things simple like that, you're able to identify the chord tones much easier and land on them when you need to and want to. The second part of that, of course, would be once you isolate a couple of arpeggios and you want to add some notes in between, well, then you can use your major scale to add some passing tones that are in key. So if you aren't super comfortable playing those arpeggios, those triads, root 3/5s, and then maybe add in a 7, try to make it even more simplified. Play something on a single string just to do some ear training so you can identify chord tones. And the best way to do that is to ask yourself, is the note strong? Does it sound in harmony with the chord? Or does it sound in key but just not that strong? If it doesn't sound that strong, get off of it, go to the next note and see if it sounds better. I'll show you what I mean. Turn the track back on here. Single string, I'll do the B string. You could see, even though I was playing on a single string and playing very slowly, I was trying to identify the chord tones going by. And if it sounded weak, then I would slide up to the next note and see if it sounded better. That's a really cool way of just trying to build your ear up so that you can recognize what sounds in harmony with the chord and what doesn't. Because I used to hear all the time, just play the chord tones. And I thought, how in the world can I identify those chord tones of all these chords going by so quickly? Don't get hung up on that, okay? You can train yourself to identify what sounds strong with the chord as long as you're in the key and start there. You can always expand on your arpeggio knowledge later to better hit the chord tones, but start somewhere simple and make it effective for yourself. There's a lot to be said for dedicated practice for vibrato only, or for bending, or for time feel type things. This is the same concept. Spend some time purely trying to play some slow melodies over a couple of chords and see if you do not improve your ear over time. So if you enjoyed the content of this video, please make sure to hit the like button and share it if you will. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more information, and please let me know what you'd like to see covered in the future. All of that helps me grow the channel and get more information out to people. I'll see you next time.